obviously, this is a smaller, more dedicated crowd today. I would just start off by saying, tell your friends to come out. You know, this has always been a very packed event for us. We're used to a full room here, so come float up. We have air conditioning on, and it actually feels cold in here. I can't remember the last time it felt cold. Please come on out. This is Betting Cups. If you don't know, how many don't know? How many are here for the first time today? Nice, I like it. Wow. So the advantage here is we're getting more new people today. Awesome. Thank you guys for coming out. This is your weekly entrepreneurial event, our weekly coffee event, where two entrepreneurs from the community come up here and show you what they're presenting today. It's just one, but we'll get to that, and I think you'll be happy it's just one. They come out, they tell you what they're building here. They have 6 minutes to present. Then there's 20 minutes of Q&A from you guys. That's your time to ask questions, get clarification on their presentation, but also make suggestions, think through your connections, and hook them up with the people you know so they can grow those businesses and become huge here. My name is Sean Kennedy. I'm an organizer for 1 Million Cups, along with JJ Roberts, Brian Bowers, Chris Bennett, and Danielle Whitelaw, who can't be with us this morning. There's also Carly hiding behind the Entrepreneurial Academy poster over there. And Entrepreneurial Academy starts next Monday right here. If you or someone you know is interested in starting or running a business, it's a wonderful 10-week course. More information online at stpete.com/TM. Thank you, Carly. But Carly also puts together the emails about 1 Million Cups that tell you who is presenting here, who has presented, how you can connect with them, help them, and more about the entrepreneurial events we discussed as well. If you're not getting that email, the sign-in sheet is right over there by the door. But our presenter today is Sqwize. We've been talking for about 2 years now, and the cool thing about this, artisanal packaged cocktails. So we're actually all going to get to sample cocktails this morning. Sorry, I'm being told it's 9 a.m. But still an awesome product.
You can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning. Good morning, everybody. I'm Jody Hansel. Hertzig is my married name. If you're looking for me, you'll generally find me under Hansel. I am the founder and CEO of Sqwize, and we make natural cocktails in pouches that look something like this, and I'll explain more about that. What are Sqwize cocktails? Number one, they're craft cocktails. The difference between our cocktails and, say, the ones you see in Publix and whatnot is that we use natural ingredients, and which I'll get to, but to make one of these fancy new craft cocktails, you have a cupboard full of things with a drop of this and a drop of that. So instead, we've just done it all for you. We found a mixologist, we've come up with the recipes, made them not as sweet as what you're going to find, and I'll tell you more about that too. But they're craft and completed for you. Natural. We are using, for example, to bring some flavor, natural organic agave. We're staying away from sour mixes. We're staying away from high fructose corn syrup. Beautiful beach drinks like margaritas and Mai Tais. Well, a lot of people don't drink them anymore because their arguments are they're too sweet or they make them sick. You know, you don't feel good. The first 2 sips, great. And then after that, it's just, from there. So, and that's not some of our lovely competitors. The portableness of the pouch is, if you think of beer and other vessels with which, if you're not a beer drinker or you're a wine drinker, you can now, with our partner here, and I'll go into later, you can get a whole pouch full of just wine, or in our case, we have a sangria that's coming to us from an old historical winery in Spain that happens to be older than the United States. But if you think of just taking 1 or 2 and throwing them in your cooler, or having a box, that you can pour around, it gives you another option for instead of drinking beer. And I'll talk to you more about the pouch and why it's become such a popular vessel for all kinds of products. We are green. A lot of people say that. It's not true. Our local partner, PPI Technologies, is run a whole green program, has won sustainability awards, and the state of Florida has made it such that our products fit into their system so that we truly can claim delivery. Management team. I've been started this company 2 years ago, and it's taken me this long to be standing here in front of you with regulatory approvals and all my specs together for manufacturing. You name it. This is an alcohol business, a highly regulated business, so you have to expect a long lead time. I have advised and started. I'm a bit of a startup junkie, which the word junkie is not a nice word, but I'll just be honest. I'm addicted to startups. And so I finished up with another one and went market shopping. And I settled on the pouch and what I wanted to put in the pouch, and decided that craft cocktails were missing from items that were already going into the pouch. And then landed here. I also have 2 other executives that are very familiar with both the distribution market and breaking alcoholic beverages into the new ones that don't have brand recognition into the Tampa Bay area. They act as brand ambassadors. They know the biggest distributors, the game of shelf space, all the rest of it. And I have an incredible mixologist that he calls it taking from, new saying is from farm to bottle instead of farm to table, because we like to use everything fresh under the sun. And as you'll see going forward, I'm starting out with really traditional cocktails. But in the future, you'll see clever ingredients. You could see anything from fennel to cilantro in one of our cocktails. We're going to take our fans and our customers' ideas and start making cocktails based on what people are looking for. So the ready-to-drink market is known as the R2D market. My company is called R2D, but the point being, you get it. Drinks like this, you tend to have to put in the freezer. That was the thing of the cast, because they're only 5% alcohol. With ours, it requires, and it looks like that, it requires no refrigeration, and the spout looks like something like this. You're going to be able to screw off the top and pour it on ice and drink it. No refrigeration, no nothing. And so the main reason is when people are also entertaining at home a lot more and they're on the go, and they just don't feel like making things. If you think of the way ready-to-go meals have taken off, they started out as little pizzas, and then now we're on to them being both fresh and frozen, natural, you name it. That trend mimics quite well, I think, what's going on in the alcohol or in the drinks market in general. And so it's cheaper, less hassle, and more intimate. I've heard from a number of bachelors that they want to have a party or a date over, and they want to make a fancy cocktail, and they want to have it ready in the fridge and just pour it out and be the man, and have, and I'm sure the same goes for women, not leaving the women out that want to entertain. The pouch. The pouch has become a market trend in its very own right. It was traditionally used in developing countries due to expense, portability, the need to get places long distances quickly. And as many things go, the reasons that was, we in our Western markets have realized that it's really, really a good vessel for us too. And it's really become an unstoppable trend. You might have noticed a great example, I think, is tuna, which was traditionally in a can. And the makers of tuna wanted to start flavoring their tuna, and it turned out that the chemistry that goes with tuna doesn't fit well in a can, but it does fit well in a pouch. You can make your pesto tuna and your flavored tuna, and that's again due to the chemistry of sitting in a pouch versus a tin. And it's much easier on the environment, easier to incinerate than just move around into different factories and piles. We take pride at Sqwize in truly being a socially responsible company in every single way you can think of. Sustainable environmental practices, natural products, being honest with our consumers about what we're giving you. Why St. Petersburg? First of all, staying local really truly works here. This is an entrepreneurial and consumer market where the community, the infrastructure, and everything's in place to start a company like this, where a lot of other places people would say you're nuts, and they still probably will. But the infrastructure is there for an entrepreneur to get out the gates and go for it. And two out of the top 5 beaches in the U.S. that says, hey, let's have some fresh natural cocktails. And again, the also worth mentioning, I think, is the representation of female entrepreneurs and CEOs. It's much more than I've seen in any other of my communities. Local partners are PPI Technologies, one of the largest pouch manufacturers in the world. Florida Caribbean Distilleries are one of the larger distillers in the country. And I talked a bit about our brand and message, but we're going for a tiki and natural and Mayan tattoo type look. And so we're seeking strategic partners and funding, which we can talk about more. Join our action. We have regular tastings that are free of charge. You can taste all 5 of our products. You can like me on Facebook at Sqwize. And we do pool parties and boat rides and all kinds of things that are fun. And here's all my contact info.
So do you need to add water or something, or is it completely
No, it's open it up and pour. Now, if I may add to that, one of the fun things is that if you're somewhere that's inconvenient and you have a cup of ice, you can just throw it in. But the way we designed this, the Mai Tais is especially amenable to this, is if you have a cocktail shaker, you can put out your favorite fruits, throw a sprig of mint in the cup, and then just shake just a handful of fruit with it. You have a blackberry Mai Tai, you have a blueberry Mai Tai. So that's it. So you still just pour it in the shaker, grab the fruit, and boom, you've got a garnished and there adds a little more diversity to the 3 or 4 or 5 drinks we have.
What's the alcohol content in yours?
So ours is almost 2 cocktails, and so the total amount is 15%. And that sounds strong, but it's actually the same amount that you find in any regular, it's 2 cocktails. And also that's the magic number where you don't have to use all the preservatives. Because our biggest deal was getting the skinny craze, we're trying to move past that into the natural phase. And the biggest way to do that is to get rid of all those carcinogens and whatnot. So at 15%, we have a 1-year shelf life, and you dump all those names off the side of the package where you don't even know what they are. Some of you probably are scientists in here and do, but even if you know what they are, you don't want them.
Congratulations on the logo, by the way, and the name and the product itself. I think you're onto something really good.
Oh, thanks.
What are your plans for distribution?
My plans for distribution, I was flipping through a little bit, but on our local partners, I'm starting with a smaller distributor, and what we're going to do is focus on Tampa Bay before we go national and international, and the first targets that it looks like we're going to seal up to be on the shelves of our ABC and Total Wine. And so we're going there. We're already doing, outside of the pouch, we've turned into doing a lot of events and sort of become a bit of a catering company. Just the same way people want their food to be perfect, they want their bar and cocktail program to be perfect. So I'm also specifically looking for partners in the catering industry that, so we can team up and, I can bring the pretty bar and you can bring the pretty food. And so, thank you.
I just want to look at distribution a bit for Slidework for the wine
Yeah,
company.
please.
I'm based in Florida. And one reason we haven't moved to Florida is because Florida is dominated by chains.
Yes.
And we thought about going to other states where the chance to get more, but it's more on the pop dominated questions.
We have thought about going to we are going to go to other states, and I'm not sure what you found, but we will likely have a different distribution company in every state, and that's its own exercise, is just going and doing that. But we have a model that we've used based on some of our market research and some of the 2 of the executives that work for us, I mentioned, work for a large distributor. So when they name states and they know what your product is, they know, where you're most likely to get the mom and pop one, because you have to go at the stores one by one. So, and then there's all the programs that you have to do with the employees of, your own employees, the employees of your distributor, giveaway cruises, you name it. So, I don't know if I answered your
No, it looks great. We just handled it. First of all, you're right, it's still a growing space, and we're seeing things like self-serve and things like that growing, so I think you're in a great,
Oh,
a
thanks.
great space. One thing I'll say though, is that we have mixed space in direct states, and we do far more direct states.
I can appreciate
It's
that.
probably change things around.
Yeah, they definitely can be. I mean, the one office, yeah, is probably the way it's going to end up in my cases.
What's your revenue model? If you take your costs, for
Mhm.
example, how much is your drink pouch and
Yeah.
what's your cost in producing?
So we're getting right down to the nitty gritty to the penny, but it looks like each pouch is going to be around $225 to $250 to go into, and we're going to go for $495. I can't remember if it's $495 or $499, but that price point. I have, and that's basically, yeah, almost. It's sort of like 1.75, and we're working really hard to figure out how we want to explain that to our consumer, because there's the bartenders too, the peoples too, how many fill into a cup, because I don't want to start saying numbers and then have people pour it. It's definitely more than one. How much more than one, we're going to have to figure out the metric, and I'm open to.
Do it in solo cup equivalents.
Yeah, exactly, and then some people's cup is like this, and some is like this, and then I know some of my friends every drink I see them with, is up to here, they pack it with ice, or, or someone, if you take an English person, for example, it's this big.
I know you said you wanted to reach other markets, so a couple of weeks ago, I was speaking with the Hard Rock Casino, and they're giving it catering from a wedding perspective.
Oh,
So they're
wow.
looking to read you today, so I have a point of contact with you over in Orlando.
Thank
So they're looking to do catering from a wedding perspective, but change their model, so they're always looking for something new. So I'm just looking at point of contact, so you can kind of slide it in from a bar perspective.
That's exactly the type of thing that I'm looking for.
So I'm thinking that one of the key features to this is the fact that you have heavy glass bottles, like to max. I don't know if I'm going to throw it, but take advantage of the fact that you don't have a lot of weight in the space you're taking up, something that I'm like selling to the airlines, so the stewardesses is walking down instead of having to punch in little tiny bottles. We got
That's
a box of this.
major target for us is airlines. One of our competitors, although they do have alcohol, and meaning when I say alcohol, I mean spirits, their products are quite different. They go for brandy and things that appeal to the hunting market, but they've run into hotel mini bars. Not the airlines yet, but I want to do the
Anyone
airlines.
that space is a commodity and weight.
Yes, and if you think of any of those, can you please email me, because I'm brainstorming. So I would love anybody's input. Yeah,
Seems like you're going direct to consumer, but would a bar that has a beer and wine license only be able to sell these? I'm thinking specifically there are 7 breweries within 2 miles of us that don't have liquor licenses that can sell beer and wine. Would they be able to sell these at their?
so one of our up and coming, because I mentioned our sangria is coming right from Spain, and that would be permitted under that license, but what we're doing is, we're gonna design these we're not gonna design, we're gonna choose from people who have designed these beautiful barrels to put sangria in, so yes, because the craft breweries all do have wine for those that don't drink beer, beyond 1 or 2, I happen to sort of be one of them. But yes, and we're gonna try to go on premise, as it's called, with our sangria. And that can also be sold in gas stations and grocery stores as opposed to the liquor stores where we have the cocktails.
I apologize if I missed this, but are those drinks something that you're opening and then pouring into a drink, or do you have the ability to just take a straw in it and use the pouch like and it will recycle?
Well, yeah, no, and I'm not permitted to use, can you say that again?
As a lawyer.
No, but the Yeah, be very careful. So the answer to that is, yes, you absolutely can put a straw in it. The one thing I would say about that, of course, is you'd want to refrigerate it. Otherwise, you just want to order rice just for the how it would taste. It's just better.
Because another good demographic, I would think, would be a lot of sporting venues.
Yes.
They can't have glass, and they have to remove the cap, so you're not throwing the cap. And obviously, you're not going to do much damage with the plastic couch, so I think that they don't help.
That is a huge another set of goals for strategic partnerships, theaters, events, racetracks. We'd love to be the official cocktail of the Grand Prix next year. You know, that type of thing, but exactly. The arena, you can't bash somebody over the head either with it if you're talking about English football or soccer.
One more thing with regard to that, one thing people throwing things to me said is a green product, is the packaging itself green? Is it biodegradable or is it?
It's incineratable, which is, so ours is going to be different than this. So we'll have other than just a couple millimeters of plastic, be 100% incineratable. And certain states do have trouble with their incineration programs, but Florida has an excellent one. So that'll all be, and there's also on the PP, if anybody is doing any products where you're interested in the pouches, you can email me or you can see ppitechnologies.com. Their program is called CCAP, and it's right there, and they won a sustainability award for it. And it's very interesting to read how that program works, because it's slightly different than just throwing your glass bottle into your food box, but it works. Yeah.
First of all, let me just say it's a refreshing change to see somebody coming here with a real product. Something.
Oh, really? Okay, it's great to hear.
And for an old guy like me, it's something I can understand quite easily. I guess my question is, my sense is that there's an awful lot of pre-mixed cocktails or mixes out there on the market, and I'm not sure I've seen any in pouches, I'm not sure I've seen any that claim natural ingredients, but how do you see yourself fitting into that competitive set?
I love that question because a lot of people, for example, this product does have actual liquor in it. It's called gasolina. It's very, very popular in Puerto Rico. It's very, very, very popular in Puerto Rico. So, for example, something like this would be considered a direct competitor of mine. But what is happening is the market is expanding and expanding. So this you might find legally, in that case, an 18-year-old to college kids, I'm sorry, wrong words, college people. I think, but mine, you might find someone that wasn't looking for the quick, to get drunk quickly, for lack of a better term, and actually wants to have the taste play a role. That, and then really 90+% of the market will call itself a margarita or a Mai Tai, but the base is wine, and they use chemicals to make it into a margarita. There's no tequila, there's no rum in these drinks. So, it doesn't take, anybody that drinks knows that there's tequila in a margarita. So if as soon as you hear my message, there's an education process. You know that your choice is to have tequila versus, and there's still a market for these, or an impulse buy that are $2, and people usually drink one of them. So, and I should add one more thing, if you don't mind, which is we're also moving on to the party size. So you can have your one-offs or your bigger ones as well. You guys sort of.
Comment or question. Until you just said it, I thought that those were your products up there. I'm kind of a mixed opinion on whether bringing your competitor's product up is dangerous to you, because it could be a potential lawsuit if you're on video bringing competitor's products. I don't know. It's just, for me, I thought that was your product the whole time. So even if you're just going to prototype now, even if you fill it with water and you made it one right around the presentations, I don't know.
Well, I do know I can't use any of these pouches because they're all proprietary to these folks.
So do you have a pouch design?
I do. I have my own pouch design and my own pizza and my own I hear your point though.
Yeah, so I have a question, why?
But yeah, so each of these, first of all, I guess also, none of them are on the market, and none of these are drinks,
Yeah,
except for this one, which I mentioned as a different product.
Like, we could walk away from, even if you're months away from getting it done, or if you can't fill the liquor, we could be exposed to the way your product looks and feels out today and walk away with like, a recognition of that. And if I didn't catch that, I would be like, is that?
I guess, yeah, if you have, if you're, I guess what I have to decide is, I can bring an empty one, that's a possibility. And filling it is a little bit funky, I guess, it's just, you have to see it, but what I've found so far anyway is that this works better, but I'm open to the idea.
And then the question. The question is, we had hot sauce, Red Fish Burger last week was trying to get hot sauce in the market. It reminded me that just like hot sauces, liquors, and alcohols, there's a huge number of them out there. There's a lot of those to distribute them, and there are certain people that have like expertise in getting them into this market. So he was partnered with Sauceology, which helps hot sauce mixologists get their hot sauces into the market. Who are you partnered with? Who's been down this road before and commercialized other liquor products, and what's your business relationship with them, and how are you going to help you? So,
Yes, so we have in-house, right as our own consultants, we have 3 people that are experienced brand ambassadors and experienced with the distributors. So we have them to give us, and our own distributor, their advice on how to get our products into the right shelf space, into the right places, and then also our marketing gurus to help us get out of this crowded market and have our, now therein lies the challenge. I can stand here today and say, we've got the best plan in the world, but if you want to call me at 3 in the morning and my eyes are open, that's what I'm probably going to be thinking about. So we're just doing everything we can. We've got a great brand, a great marketing plan. We've got people that have done it many times before, and we're going to go for it. But that's the scary part.
I know you mentioned earlier it's an education process for you to reach the consumers because it is actually made with natural ingredients and rum and liquor. So how do you plan on getting that message out to the consumers?
So we have a multifaceted strategy, which will be, if I have more time in the future to talk more about the marketing plan. But our marketing materials, our websites, our events, really getting exposure. I'm doing a lot of events around Tampa Bay, and where I actually have a chance to speak to community leaders, consumers. And what we found is that, for example, there's a couple people in the audience that I've met before personally. The word is spreading already, and people are noticing that because they are searching for those kinds of products, and they already have the word natural in their head, green in their head, they're not connecting with other products in the market. So the bottom line is we're running a ground-up marketing campaign to do so.
And are you guys doing any educational videos? Because I know a lot of selling is educating
Yes.
them. So
We are
you're talking about here's how you make a good natural Mai Tai.
Yes.
Here's how you do this.
Yes, yes, and yes, lots and lots and lots and lots of those, yeah. By all means, because they couldn't do it without it, I don't think.
When you came up with that $4.99 or $4.95 price point, how did you arrive at that? Because when I think about it, if you're trying to distinguish yourself as the kind of high-end couch cocktail, where you use great ingredients and things like that, is $4.95 a price that communicates that? I don't know.
Well, we being all of my strategic partners, everybody involved in Sqwize, which is, there's quite a number of people actually that have come in and helped advise that do one-off consumer products and you name it. And so we basically, it took us quite a bit of time to get to the cost point. There's so many little things, the price of which pouch you choose, the screw top, the box, the transport. And then we went from there and then tried to figure out what are consumers going to use to decide how much this thing is worth. And rather, we sort of come up with it, rather than it being that it's high-end, that it's going to be, what would I have to pay to get somebody to go to all this trouble in a bar, mixed with how much would it cost me to buy, let's say you have 5 drinks in your house made by us, what would it cost me to buy all the ingredients and make these myself? And buying ours is much cheaper. So that's sort of how I'm neglecting over here, sorry, I don't know this for yeah.
I've always looked like it.
And it's not wasted.
So when do you plan on having distribution, or how soon can it be on the shelves? What's the plan to get it out there, and how quick can you get it out?
The plan, so as I mentioned, the cocktails themselves are launched event-wise. As far as the pouches, we're planning on launching some. And we're hoping that our manufacturers aren't going to keep fiddling with the machines. And we're right down to the nitty-gritty of a millimeter here and a millimeter there, and the dyes and the, you name it. So this summer's the latest. Yes, they're in Sarasota. Sorry.
Some people get like the good housekeeping stuff. I think in your case, I think you should hook up with foodbay.com.
Food Babe?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Food Babe actually. My friend's her agent. And so, as long as she's willing to talk about liquor, I'm in. But
As long as it's natural and organic, I believe she will.
well, can you join my club then? Because her agent is going to talk to her, but post something in addition. Anybody that wants to get on the Food Babe train with me, I would really appreciate. She's great though. And for anybody that doesn't know who that is, she's the person that exposed that Subway had the same material as yoga mat in their buns, and then they changed it. She went on Media Blitz, so yes.
I'd like to, actually, I would advise you to talk to, I want to reemphasize Sean's point. You should talk to somebody who's a luxury brand specialist, because I'm kind of an operations guy from my background, and I always do cost up. You need to go from consumer price point down, because I think you're leaving money on the table by selling it so cheaply.
Well, we have one of our group is heavily pushing for your film.
Yeah,
And I've got entrepreneurial jitters.
No, I
And so-
understand that, but what I'm saying is.
Yeah, but I'm happy to hear that.
I just
What's
got
better
done-
news than that?
I just got done with an indie program in France where they have a luxury specialist. That's a track to cover. And the margin of these guys is just crazy because people are going for the natural and the convenience and things like this. So I revisit that with a luxury specialist.
And I have one on the team, and I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm going to do that with someone here. Yes.
How much money are you looking for? What would be used for? Are you touching the strategy of what brands or are you using branded liquor?
Yeah. So I'm not going to use branded liquor so far because of that, how heavily that affects the margin, and I think that I'm a good acquisition target for a branded liquor company because our brand is a lot different than what you see back to what we said to do. It's just, this isn't even on the market, by the way, but, everything is more along the Jimmy Buffett line, which is fun, but we're going for the sleek. So I think to get to an acquisition, it's going to cost about $5 million plus my revenues, which I have good reason for believing that because there's one really direct competitor that I mentioned. He's in California. He used EB-5 money, which means he got it through an immigration program. His numbers are public. So in order to get the drinks on the shelves without the extra marketing, it's going to be around $800,000. I've funded it up till now and put in about $50,000 to get us here through the regulatory process, the branding, and the other things that have been achieved to date. Next step, I think, is $802 million, and then the next is going to be the splash marketing campaigns and then operations, working capital.
What revenue would you need to hit to exit?
Well, my competitor, who had much less exciting branding, hit 8 million units in year 3. I personally don't feel like I'm in a rush to go to an exit. I'd be happy with those kind of numbers to operate for quite a while. So, I mean, I've done the acquisition dance before. You know, if the right person knocks on your door, you don't know that you're gonna kick them out of bed for eating crackers. I mean, but you're just, so I guess we're gonna have to see, but this is supposed to be a cash generating, you know, outfit. So if we got acquired, perhaps we can in or out situation where we maintain the integrity of the brand.
Yeah, I disagree with that gentleman. I think your target market, in fact, $4.95 is good. However, since you have another person who wants to do the high end, I would do both. Keep it at that for the consumer and just repackage it real expensive like, and you can get the high end buyers who think, hey, if I spend $20, it's great, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
you get that consumer market.
You get the regular or the
So
Vegas
you're going into
party.
the market with two different brands, and
Yeah.
you're just, you know, it's capturing those.
It's a good idea. It's sort of what Starbucks, I mean, and almost anybody out there kind of has two faces. Yeah.
I try to drink so much at the mall business, my 7-Eleven and stuff like that. I like a liquor base, so that's why I like your product. But with it being liquor based, it's like you're exterior come out, you limit the market we can sell. Because these should not be sold at 7-Eleven for beer, wine establishments.
Yeah.
You really limit your market.
You do limit your market, and that was a big part of our research and development, or our research rather, in the beginning phases of this, in the viability part. It would be nice, and in some states, as you know, you can go right into the grocery stores and the other places, but the issue there is that if in a state that permits you to sell liquor anywhere, there's so much less shelf space in the grocery store. And I've heard from people that the scuffle up over shelf space in the grocery store can get pretty real, like even get into fist fighting. So I'm starting to think that this separation in states that do have it might actually work out to our benefit.
So where do we find the product only in liquor stores? Florida, I know.
We'll be in ABC and Total Wine is our targets for the beginning, and so we're going to be working on that. We're hoping, and also that's accessible for all products, wine exactly as you know, but yeah.
You mentioned you're a startup junkie. What were some of your other projects and how did they end up?
So, well, I've done many, but I've had a couple that have been sold. One was called, my very, very first one was called drfeed.com, and that was in the 90s. And what that was a metrics for people to choose the right footwear for all their sports. I worked with 2 podiatrists, and you put in 5 things about your feet, and it would spit out everything on the market and tell you which of the products you would be best for you, what kind of running shoe, inline skate, you name it. We sold that. Nobody's gonna, I'm not Bill Gates, but we did have an exit. Another one is a medical device that stores, rather than test the viability of blood when it's already in the bags. And we use a pH test instead of a bacterial test. That's still going in, it's gone international. So I'm still a shareholder, and I spent a decade on that one, very proud of it. Those are 2 examples.
So, going back to the states, I actually have 2 questions. First one is a quick one. Going back to the states that where window wells are easier, there's stuff everywhere. Even though there's a jockeying for shelf space you mentioned, you don't have to be on a shelf, right? It can be on some sort of hanging thing on the end that any other people can be on, so would that be a competitive advantage?
And if, so here, being on a rack in a liquor store is a big competitive advantage. We've had some trouble with the package itself because a particular concern to me, and it's a concern to the market, it's a concern to me, is that if you're allowed to be in a Walmart, for example, in some states, you can be right in the store. I know some of the packages fall off, kids pick them up, different things, that is a major concern to me. And then also, will you get that space in that grocery store? Because there's so many impulse buys and $2 you name it. And so I would hope it would be, but I'm not sure. It's the best answer I can give.
And then the other one is, there are a lot of, I mean, you have a lot of good ideas about scaling, there are a lot of good suggestions about scaling.
Mhm.
Do you have any sense for how you would order those things? I mean, obviously your first step is going to be the ABCs and the total and things like that. But then you're talking about sporting events or airplanes or things like that. Do you know which of those is the best cost benefit market to try and break into first?
I do. I mean, what we've done is we've split our team that we have by bootstrapping up into groups. So one is just to deal with distributors that go into liquor stores. Another is to make strategic partnerships with the airlines, the hotels. Another really exciting thing that's come along from one of our advisors is there is one company that makes vending machines that hold these pouches perfectly. And so what I'm hearing from our hotel advisors is that the minibar concept is they're not as excited about that as they are having a vending machine for, let's say, people that stay on a large resort in Hawaii or here or anywhere else, where you can have a proof of age card and have the hotel guests be able to go out to the vending machine and take it out there. But we're going immediately for the racetracks, the theaters, we're going right out. And we just got our last regulatory approval. I'm going for a couple more within the last couple of weeks. So that, I didn't want to do that before that, but that's really exciting because we're regulated by the TTB, which is our FDA, alcohol and tobacco trade and tax. And I've in these regulatory things for years, and it's just a really strange name, but we did manage to get all the regulatory done.
I'm confused with your brand positioning, because if you started off with it's green, it's natural,
yeah.
fresh ingredients, which imply high-end to me. But then you call it sporting events, and I can't tell if it's the spring break crowd or the poor man's cocktail or a really special product.
Yeah.
And it really bouncing on John's question and another one of the comments that I think I'd suggest you have to decide that, which are you? And then really go for it. And if you are specialty and high end, which is what it screams to me, then your price point is $13 or something rather than $4.95. If you're mass market, then you do bulk size and you're $4.95, but it's two different product strategies.
So we started out with that thought completely until we saw others in the market go just pummel right through both of those at once. And that, now, the one thing I will point out, the margarita, the Mai Tai is a little more confusing. The margarita, that's kind of universal, but in order to hit, for example, the sporting event, let's say a racing event, we're going to add a couple different products. For example, a twisted tea, and we have another one in mind. And so we use our brand Sqwize, but yet have a different product for that type of event as an example. But for the airlines and the prices that we can do, they use Woodford Reserve and you name it at the side-by-side of Smirnoff. So, but yes, that is a line that it's always on the mind. How will we, and then that goes back to what was said here before. And so we're running down 2, 3, or 4 lanes. And so we have to be both a startup and keep managing to stay in these 4 lanes. But again, I mean, if anybody has any suggestions on how we either fit in or adjust our types of products we're offering, I'm very, very open. And there's still so much time.
To follow up with that, I'm okay with that designer market. Hey, I want craft cocktails. I do not want to go to a sporting event and drink another beer. I don't want beer. I don't want the whole thing of roast wine. I want something that's yummy, and $5 to me is just a little bit uncomfortable. And I'm going to pay $8 for a craft cocktail at the beach. And for that I'm paying for my bar stool, I'm paying for my bartender's fee, you know, $8 to me is something that I'm okay with. $5 for something that's in a pouch, a little uncomfortable, but it's quality, so I think it's okay. To me, that feels all right, it's like you're in the pocket there.
But nonetheless, yeah, I hope it is, but we're also, we might be able to pull the price point down at one of those events due to the volume.
Yeah.
Or things like that, we can, the $4.95 price I quote as me, you going into a liquor store, buying it, one of them. So, but yeah, it's not going, yes.
Well, thank you again for coming out
Okay.
today. How can we as the St. Pete community help you get this off the ground and launch the company?
Well, your input and your following me on Facebook and attending my events to try my products is the most important thing. Any strategic partners you can introduce me to where I can ask to bring my products in there, please. Any angel investors that are local. I have a huge community of angel investors that lie in the Northeast and in the Northwest. I do not want to go to them. I'm newer to the area, as in I've been here almost, I'm in my 4th year. I'd love to keep everything, including my investors here. So anybody that can help me do that, I can wait a few more months to, I want to get it done by, I mentioned this summer. I can launch pretty quickly right after I finish my first portion of my first milestone. But I'd love to have my investors be able to walk into my office.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you again all for coming. You can follow up with her right after.
What's the question for you?
Okay.
You guys, I was wondering, is it a way that we can revisit this information so that we can, you know, maybe if we were exposed to resources that we can equip her with?
Yeah, well, she has all of her contact information right there. We send out 2 emails every single week, and there's a sign-up sheet right by there. One email is to tell you who's presenting, and then the second email is a recap of that presenter from what the whole entire presentation was about, and also how we as a community can help them. And then in addition, we have a YouTube channel. You just Google, go to YouTube, 1 Million Cups St. Petersburg, and every single presentation is actually uploaded there. So you can still watch it.
As well.
Yep.
The videos are in.
And please do contact me. I would love that. And come to an event.
So as you guys see, sometimes we do struggle with finding presenters. So with you guys knowing there's a lot of new people in the community, we take any startup from concept stage up to 4 years in business who are doing something innovative in their field and can show how they're going to scale the business. So if you have anyone that you think is interested in presenting, or if you yourself are, please come and see us, and we'll be happy to talk to you a little bit more about the logistics of presenting itself. But I'd love to see you back again next week. And before I let you guys go, I have 2 tickets for April 3rd to the Listening Room Festival. It's going to be right at the Palladium, right down the street. So we're going to see how many of you guys actually pay attention to Sean, because I know I don't. What is the website that he mentioned earlier this morning that's the website for the Entrepreneurial Academy?
My breast is swelling with pride.
Full disclosure, I had to ask for what the answer was. So I was not early.
Rehouse.org?
You find it there, but that wasn't it.
Who's Sean?
Okay, so, all right, backup question. Who won the Grand Prix?
Well, let's give everybody the answer first.
Okay, sorry. Savedeep.com/EA. That was what, so you're getting there, you're getting there.